Hello and welcome back to Beginner's Burrow. So, you want to get your very first tarantula, but you don't know where to start. I'm going to go over that with you, and it's actually very simple and very cheap to start out. First thing you're going to need, obviously, is a home for your tarantula. Now, you can go very cheap with something like a Sterilite container, just one of these plastic storage boxes. This one only costs about $1. It's a shoebox size, and they range from about this size to much smaller to very large. You can actually house, I have my Burgundy Goliath Bird Ear T Sturmy inside of a Rubbermaid container. So you can house about anything inside of those containers. They go small enough even to fit slings. You get them from the dollar store. Very cheap, simple. And all you got to do is put some holes in it. Now, the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need to put some dirt into your home. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to use this for something else. But what you're going to need is, to start with the basic, the simple thing to use, because there's a lot of debate about it, a lot of theories and all that, is just use cocoa fiber. It's the easiest thing to do. If you want to go cheaper than that, actually, you can use organic potting soil. Just make sure there's no fertilizers in it. And I believe it's called Purelite. It's like a glass fiber. You don't want that in there. So just check the ingredients, make sure there's none of that in there, and it should be perfectly fine. Organic potting soil, it's about $10 for a 10-pound bag, I think it is, at Walmart. Pretty simple, cheap to get. You start with that, and that bag will fill this like 100 times or something. It lasts a while. Then what you're going to need is a home or a hide for the tarantula once it's inside. Now, for that, you can use a bunch of different things. Some people will use things like this. It's just a pot. You get these from the mints again, like the dollar store. They're pretty cheap. Cut it in half, and you can make a hide. You can also use something like cork bark. This kind of stuff. A lot of people use it as a very natural look. It's mold resistant, so it's very good for in there. I would use something, especially to start off, that is cork bark or plastic. I have seen people just use plastic cups. They'll cut them in half, put them in there. Does the same thing. It doesn't have to look natural. Your tarantula doesn't actually care. It just wants a place to hide. Now, after you have a hide, you have the dirt in, you have the home. So what else do you need besides the tarantula? You are going to want a way to water your tarantula. So something like the spray bottle like this. This came from the dollar store. I've had it for years. It's worked perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with using something like this. It's very simple. You can keep it next to your tarantula. Some of them need to be sprayed. Some of them just need the water bowl filled. Now that's also what we were missing. A water bowl. Now you can go to a pet store and they sell nice looking water bowls that you can put inside of there. Or you can go as cheap as just using the cap off of a milk bottle. This is a chocolate milk gallon bottle cap. You can put that in there, in the dirt, set it aside there, and just fill it up. That's perfectly fine. So really, to start off with, you can use a $1 tub, a $1 hide. The dirt costs about $10. This just comes off your milk bottles. It's pretty simple and cheap to keep a tarantula to start out with. Now, other things that you are going to want to need other than housing. So that's pretty much all you need for the housing. Other things you're going to need. Well, you are going to need something to put holes in the housing. Now, either you're going to have to get some drill bits, and I would suggest getting this, something like this. It has a nice range in size. As you can see, all different sizes, because you will be probably getting more than one tarantula, and you want to make sure that you have different size holes for the different size tarantulas you get from slings. Will need a very, very tiny hole up to larger holes for the bigger tarantulas. If you don't have a drill, you can't do that, you can go get a soldering iron. For most plastic containers, this will just go right through, and you can make different size holes using the sharp point there. You don't have to go all the way through, and when the plastic melts, it actually kind of seals itself back a bit, so it does close the holes a bit. You can make rather small holes with this if you're careful. Once again, though, if you're using a soldering iron, when plastic melts, it creates a lot of smoke and a lot of fumes. It's not very good for you. Make sure you're outside or you have a well-ventilated area, have a fan on, that kind of thing. It's not that dangerous. Most people do it. I use it all the time, as you've seen. I have one. Just be careful when you use it. Now, the other things you're going to need is stuff to manipulate, feeders, clean out the tank, the enclosure. So you're going to want to get a long set of tongs. I believe these are 8 inches. And I think these are about $5 or $6 at most pet stores you can get them at. This I got at the dollar store in a pack of 4 of different sizes. And this works really well for small sling enclosures. You can go in there, you can clean out the stuff, or you can take a feeder and put it in there. Very easy to use. These are very inexpensive. Like I said, these are about $5 or $6. Still not that expensive. Now, also to manipulate the tarantula, you get to go where you want to move from one enclosure to another, or out of the box you get it from the container. You're going to want something like paintbrushes. Now, these are small ones, obviously for slings, that kind of thing. And I got a whole bunch of those for $1. So, I mean, they're really cheap. I think I paid $3 or $4 for these longer paintbrushes. They're really cheap. It came with like a 6-pack, and I think it was like $4 or $5. It wasn't that bad. So you will need those, like I said, just to get the tarantula to move basically where you want it to go. And that's pretty much what you will need for a starting tarantula. Oh, no, sorry, I did forget one thing. The last thing you're going to need is a catch cup. You always want to have catch cups handy when you're moving a tarantula around, even if you're just opening to feed. Anytime I open my containers to feed, I usually have one of these sitting somewhere at hand, very close by, just in case. So, but then again, these again, they're really simple. This is off of a 20-ounce bottle of pop. This is off a 2-liter of pop. I put some tape on the bottom just because I didn't like the sharp edge. And I'm not sure if I like it or not. I just kind of wanted to put more protection there. But I'm a little worried about it sticking, but it doesn't seem to. Anyway, then make sure when you do make your catch cups like this, just drill some holes with the drill bits that you got, or with your soldering iron. This allows you to then manipulate the tarantula once it's inside to get it to go out into your enclosure. And you put one in the top too, just so you can get it to go down from the top. And I think that's it. Once again, you're going to need a home. You're going to need the substrate, which is usually cocoa fiber or potting soil. That's organic. You're going to need a home, which is a plastic pot, plastic cup cut in half, or something like cork bark, something that doesn't mold. I wouldn't use anything from outside, nothing like that. Use cork bark, because anything outside usually will start molding in once you get it wet inside one of these containers. You will need a water dish, which once again is just, I believe I left it inside. You can use something like a milk jug cap, or you can go and buy something more expensive from the pet store that looks nice. Depends on how much you want to spend on the look of the tarantula and the enclosure, I mean. Then you're going to need a water way to spray down the substrate and fill the water bottle. You're going to need something to manipulate the food and to clean the enclosure. You're going to need something to manipulate the tarantula and get him to move when you need him to move without hurting him. That's why you use something like a paintbrush, something that's soft. You don't really want to move your tarantula with the tongs, because if it strikes at the metal tongs, it could hurt its fangs. You don't want to do that. And then the last thing you want is catch cups, so that if he does get away, you can catch him and then put him back in his home. And I believe that is all you really need to start out in the hobby. That is the very basics of what you will need. That is to keep one tarantula or two. As you get more into the hobby, you will get more and want more tools. And I will go over a video on some of the more advanced tools, say more advanced, just the things that I found useful and I've collected in the hobby as I have gone along. That will be in a future video. And as always, please like, comment. If you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I will be putting a shout out video linked in the end credits. Please click on that video and give that YouTuber a chance to watch this video. See if you like it, and if you do, subscribe to their channel. I'm just trying to help spread the love around this community a bit. And as always, thank you for watching.